Hi muckers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all having the best day ever. Thank you so much for clicking on my YouTube channel and on my video today. I really appreciate you being here, choosing to spend even a little portion of your day or evening or night with me. Anyway, thank you for being here. Okay, so a video I posted a couple days ago has definitely been a talking point amongst my community, and it had to do with Hila, Moses, and Trisha. So basically, what we talked about was recently Tana Mojo went on an episode of the H3 podcast and brought up frenemies, and then was like, oh, I don't know if I can bring that up. And then Ethan's like, oh no, like it's not something that I'm scared to talk about. I just don't talk about it because I've like talked about it to the extent. And then Tana asks if Hila has any communications with Moses, and Hila opened up about basically like the rough family dynamic now between her and Moses, but like Moses talks with all of his other siblings and it's just her that he doesn't talk to and she doesn't talk to him. And then Ethan goes to say, you know, I would much rather make up with Trisha than and then Hila cuts him off and is like, I know what you're gonna say and don't say it. And so a lot of people are just very interested with this like little clip that has been going around of Hila talking about this. So what we're gonna do is watch it again and kind of talk about all the opinions of all the different things people are saying, because it's definitely messy. So again, here is the clip that we are going to be referencing from the last day. Okay, here we go. Let me play this.
Go back on, and that would be like my H3 peak.
No, I'm so happy we're friends, because I genuinely am. This is nice. I feel like this is a bestie thing.
I love it. I love it.
And then, look, something in her mind goes, frenemies. She's gonna make the joke, and then she realizes, oh, maybe I shouldn't make the joke. She's so mean.
New three.
Do you see the pause before? She was like, fuck.
Frenemies.
Yeah.
No, better. Sorry.
Here's kind of.
It's just so hard not to.
Speaking of situations you can't talk about, like, that's the one in our life.
Yeah.
That really sucks, because like Ethan is such an open person, and I am too. Like when it comes to our online stuff, I mean, we pretty much share.
I don't think
literally everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
does that bother you? Is it legal that you can't say things, or it's for the greater good?
About that I can't talk about.
Just frenemies.
Oh, that's just like a personal.
It's not legal.
Yeah.
It's just family.
And that doesn't bother me. I've talked about that shit so much now. There's nothing left to say about it.
Do you guys? You're like, there's nothing left to say about it. I'm like, well, here's my scroll.
No, you can ask me whatever you want.
Tana is the equivalent of like a chronically online person like myself and like you, where we just like always are like an information book on the internet, and like she has been given the opportunity to possibly ask questions about this, and she's gonna take it, and I appreciate that. Ow, I just hit myself.
If I don't want to talk about it, then I won't. Like,
do you guys still speak with Moses?
No.
Oof.
And it's really hard.
Moses to me.
Hey, Moses is
my brother.
Your brother.
Isn't that crazy as fuck?
It's really hard. It's really hard.
Were you very close your whole life?
Yes.
Dude, we used to hang out with him every week.
He was the closest one.
Every week, dude.
It really doesn't.
And then.
And it's really hard on my whole family that we don't talk, because I have two other siblings that they talk with him. Yeah. And my mom obviously talks.
It's very hard to be the one.
So like we can't have like a holiday together. We can't have like.
You wouldn't be in the same room. Yeah.
And so
I would God, so they wouldn't even be in the same room. So Ethan now goes on to say, I would sooner make up with Trisha, but Hila cuts him off because Hila doesn't want him saying that, which does come across like really weird.
I would sooner.
Wait.
I'm just gonna say it. I would sooner make up with... Oh, don't say it. I'm out.
No, I don't want you to say that. I know what you're gonna say.
Just comes across as like really weird, because we already know what Ethan was gonna say anyway. I don't know.
Hey, this is me right now. Verbal bad boy. Also smoked crack once.
Like someone just fucking made that out of fucking desk right here.
So, okay. So now we're gonna get to what everyone is saying, right? So there's a lot of opinions and a lot of people have a lot of things to say. So first of all, I am going to get to this. So Evie said, I think this whole situation is incredibly sad, and that Moses plays a way bigger part in all the animosity between the two couples' families. I think it's also sad for the kids. They won't be able to grow up together, and hanging out with your cousins as a kid was one of my favorite parts of growing up. And I think it's really interesting that, you know, bring up that Moses is the main kind of contender in this, because whenever the drama was happening, everyone always said, oh my god, it's Trisha that's starting the drama, and Moses is so, you know, just in the corner, like, letting her do it. But I think what we're realizing is that it probably was Moses that was fueling all the drama, and Trisha was just the mouthpiece. Because again, like I said, it seemed that Moses was telling Trisha stuff about his family for then Trisha to bring it up on Frenemies, causing private issues to become public. All right. Diana said, it seems to me that the whole situation is so much more complicated than we know. When I watched back old episodes when the drama was unfolding, often the problem was when Trisha would bring up family matters. Example, saying Moses and Hila's mom wouldn't be at their wedding, and then Ethan and Hila actually saying, Moses, why are you saying these things to Trisha? In my opinion, Ethan and Hila actually didn't have that much of a problem with what Trisha was saying. It was more behind the scenes, Moses having to have these conversations with Trisha to make her believe those things, because I don't think Trisha was always just making shit up on the fly during Frenemies. Also, this doesn't take into account that Moses was accused of SA around that time, so naturally Ethan and Hila distanced themselves from people who have those allegations. I think Ethan truly and genuinely wants a relationship with Trisha again, but the rift between Hila and Moses is too large. And I mean, even professionally, I could see Ethan and Trisha, you know, doing something again, but obviously that Moses thing is much more complex now, and if you don't know about the Moses thing, he was accused of, I think it was stealthing quite a while ago, and that's where that conversation is coming from, and Ethan and Hila did speak up against that. Emily said Moses was always planting seeds in Trisha's head about his family not being great and being deceptive about his relationship with all of them. I think the things that happened with Trisha and Frenemies was just a convenient way to step out without Moses taking the blame. Alright, as said, I think that it is all Moses and the accusations against him. Ethan has said a few times that he wishes Trisha well, not saying they've made up or anything, but when he talks about never wanting to see Moses again, it was clear that this is way more than just frenemies falling apart. Andy B said, to me it sounds like they already had issues before Trisha. There were a lot of things throughout Frenemies and a few times where Trisha would start a fight or say something untrue based on what Moses had allegedly told her. I think there's a lot of stuff we don't know, and it goes way deeper than Moses marrying someone that they do not like. Because again, if it was that, then why would Ethan be like, I would much rather make up with Trisha? You know what I mean? I just forgot that these were behind me. Aren't these so silly? So cute, right? So cute. Anyway, yeah, I think it genuinely is way more deeper than that, and I'm excited that people are like having that opinion, because it was, for a while, people genuinely just thought that it had everything to, you know, it was kind of way more surface level than that, and I'm glad people are kind of having that conversation, I guess. Alright. Wim said, I wonder if Moses is the manipulative one who knows he can outsmart Trisha, and that she can be relied upon to be the, you know, the self-centered person who will bring all the topics to a forefront. I think Ethan and Hila often ride on a high horse they don't necessarily deserve, which doesn't help the case, but overall everyone sucks here. You'd think they'd want the kids to grow up together. I do feel badly though for Hila in this situation. Lady said, I think Trisha gets a lot of blame, and rightfully so, but I think Moses is to blame more than people think, at least in my opinion. I feel Moses is an enabler to Trisha and stands by and watches her and try to destroy his family and doesn't really seem to do anything about it. There's something so sly and creepy about him, it makes my skin crawl. Well, maybe that is because he's wanting Trisha to do these things. Maybe it's because he's telling Trisha these things about his family. You know what I mean? That's the conversation that I've been thinking for a while, where that makes more sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, that makes more sense. Yeah, of course it kind of makes sense that he's saying things about his family, and then Trisha, the online person, is going to publicly bring it to the forefront. Ethan and Hila are also public figures, so then that affects them, which then brings their, you know, matters with Moses to matters with Trisha, which then makes it public, affecting their brand. And then their issue with Moses in private has now turned into this, where it's affecting their business. That's what this seems to me. That's literally what this screams. Alright. If not us, families are already complicated enough without airing every grudge and, you know, bad perception publicly. Trisha tried to ruin Ethan and Hila during their fallout, to the point where it was threatening to Bruce's development while Hila was pregnant with him. Trisha obviously has a lot of trauma and mental health issues, but she's also just toxic. I hope she figures her stuff out, and in the meantime, Hila is smart to keep her distance. Alright, Katie said, I think it's because Trisha and Hila just flat out do not like each other. I don't think Moses is 100% innocent in all of it, and probably was telling both of them different things. As Hila has mentioned, he has a history of doing this with girls. This is just the first time a child has been involved. It's an unfortunate situation for everyone involved, no matter how deranged certain people may be. I think we should respect Hila through, and not, you know, turn this into a bigger deal other than what she says. She's got enough to worry about within her family. Alright, okay, and then we'll read out one more. Okay, so Pie Awaits Me said, I think it's interesting how Ethan and Hila get to speak on them constantly, Like, Ethan is always mentioning Trisha's name, but if Trisha does it once, she's cancelled and harassing the family. They don't talk to her, but they also talk about her very publicly, and also it's always in a very negative tone. And I get that they have personal issues, but then don't make it public. Well, I think what's interesting about that as well is it's always Trisha bringing them up, like, on her own whim, if she ever does. But I think with this, if we're just going to focus on this instance with H3, Tan and Mojo literally brought it up to them. And then if they didn't talk about it, you know, they're hiding stuff. So it's like a lose-lose situation. But I think with Trisha, what's she doing? She's always sitting in the fucking drive-thru on her own, you know, filming herself. Like, she's always the one bringing it up. There's no one there prompting the conversation. But whenever Ethan has done it, I'm not saying always, because I don't watch him that closely anymore in terms of the podcast, but normally in the interviews and stuff, it's always people, you know, bringing it up. And so you have the question there of, what should he do? Should he shut down the thing, or should he not? I mean, we literally see Hila shutting down Ethan making a comment about Trisha, and now Hila's getting a lot of backlash for it, so it's like losing and losing. Alright, we'll read out a couple more, okay? But yeah, I just think that's very interesting. So, like you said, Mac said this. Like you said, I think a lot of the blame is actually on Moses for ultimately conflicting all of them. I could have seen Trisha making up with Ethan, but it seems like the real negativity is always coming from Moses. I understand why they don't want to air it all out, you know, their dirty details, but that doesn't stop me from wanting to know. My little messy mucker, my little messy mucker. I can't imagine how hard it is to be in no contact with a sibling and the rest of the family being in conversation. Alright, okay, so Kendra said, it is honestly so heartbreaking. I feel awful that Ethan and Hila are going through this. And I feel like Trisha gets so wrapped up in herself that she doesn't care about other people's feelings or whatever is happening in the moment. Pixie said, it's important to note that Hila stopped talking to them and just basically more focusing on Moses when that woman came forward about claiming that Moses had SA'd her. And Hila sided with the woman, and Trisha then said, you know, went on this big rant about victims speaking forward, and, you know, anyone can say anything, and this basically caused a big rift between, you know, Moses and Trisha and Ethan and Hila, and I think that's a really important point to bring up. We'll read out one more after this, but yeah, that we kind of forget that that is a big reason that Hila specifically said that she didn't want to speak on Moses' name. But anyway, Annabelle, we'll read out the last one, said, I think Ethan knew all this drama would happen. Ethan isn't dumb. Most people have seen what Trisha's done in the past, especially with how controversial she is. I also believe this as well. And I think Ethan took the risk bringing her on, knowing that things would probably blow up, but knowing that they would make a lot of money. And they did. They knew that it would get attention from having Trisha on the podcast. I don't think they expected for Trisha to get married into the family. I agree with that also. I also don't think they meant for Trisha to have drama with Hila, just Ethan, which then backfired. It seems like they were trying to control chaos when the chaos couldn't control itself in the first place. Ooh, very clever. I feel like Moses is the only one actually keeping Trisha grounded, which personally I think is fairly dangerous, especially because they have a child involved. So basically, we have a bunch of different opinions on a bunch of different things, but I think the important thing to note here is, yeah, Ethan and Hila did speak up against Moses a while ago whenever that woman was talking about him. So let me know your opinion. We can talk about it down below. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Please make sure you're subscribed, and I hope you're enjoying the channel, and I will see you very soon. Bye.